This question comes up a lot, and it came up last night on Facebook. Joel, how is coaching, what you do, different from counseling? And in this video, I'm going to extend that to how is coaching different to not only counseling, also to psychologists and psychiatrists. The difference between a coach and other therapists. Other therapists includes counselors, psychologists, and psychiatrists. Now, the main difference between a coach and the others is that a coach considers you as a client, whereas the others, they consider you as a patient. Why so? As a coach, I presume that there is nothing wrong with you, whereas the others, they automatically assume that there is something wrong with the patient. So we know what the areas of focus are. All of these, all the professions consider the emotional and mental suffering of each person. Now I can go on about as a coach. Me personally, I also consider the spiritual aspect of my client, whereas the others are more scientific. They analyze what's in front of them and will not look into the spiritual side unless there's evidence of that in their mental thinking. The mental processes each therapist focuses on. Here are commonalities with the other therapists, with the coach. Coach, counselor, and therapist focuses on the mental aspect of the person being their software. In other words, the way they think. Psychiatrist, on the other hand, is concerned with the hardware. There's something actually different or basically wrong with the person's brain. Now, the range of focus with each therapist. Psychiatrists is fixed on their focus. They are fixed on the hardware issue, your brain. What is wrong with the brain, your nervous system, for example. Psychiatrist has a broad range that they focus on because they are in this for the long term. They look at every aspect of the patient. A counselor has a single or narrow range of focus. Whatever the issue is at the time, that's what he or she will focus on with their patient. Now with a coach, the focus with the client varies. It depends on what the client wants. Not every client has the same issue or problem. They might not even have a problem. They could simply want to improve what's going on in their lives. Why wait to have a problem when you can improve upon your current situation? Isn't that cool? Now, the types of session with each profession, counselor, psychologist, and psychiatrist, their main focus is on psychotherapy. They look at the psyche and they wrap around their sessions in a therapeutical circumstance, in a therapeutical state. Whereas with a coach, each session could be a psychotherapy as well, or it could be a strategic one, where the client and the coach work together to formulate a strategy of the client and what he or she wants out of his or her life. Now, the type of sessions involved with the coach, when I coach you, could be one-on-one, or in the case where you're having a problem with your team, it could be a couple strategy session. In the case of a husband and wife with their partner, that could also be a couple type of strategic session. With a counselor, it's a short-term counseling session, one-on-one with their patient. Psychologists, they normally have sessions based on the long-term therapy. Come and sit down with me once every week, every 2 weeks, or every month. Whereas a psychiatry, they rest with a psychiatrist. They focus on the medication management. How long does their medication last? What is the effect of that medication to the patient? Will they require more medication or less? And for how long? Okay, that's the type of sessions that are involved with each of these therapists. Now, the mental presence that I access in each session with either the client or the patient, for me, I like to access the unconscious mind as well as the conscious mind, because it is in the unconscious mind that where the client base their behaviors from. They make the decisions from the unconscious mind before the conscious mind is aware of it. For example, when you go to a restaurant, before you could even think consciously of what you want to order, your unconscious mind has already done so within a split second or more. The counselor focuses on the conscious mind. Psychologists delve into the conscious mind as well as the unconscious mind if they use, for example, hypnotherapy. The psychiatrist focuses on the part of the brain that is either subdued or enhanced based on their medical management. The timing of this all. When is the practitioner is needed for the client or the patient? For me personally as a coach, I like to see my clients before they have a problem or if they have foreseen a possible stumbling block coming up in the near future. Please come and see me. Or when you are experiencing issues, or perhaps the issue has already come and gone and there's a problem that is stuck to that issue. That's when you come and see me as your coach. Whereas the counselors, psychologists, and psychiatrists, the signal warning happens after the problem or problems have occurred. It may be a little bit too late by then, and they are going into scrambling mode, repair mode. In other words, instead of being proactive, they are reactive. Which one do you rather be? The practitioners give advice. For me as a coach, no. My main duty with my client is not to give advice. I work with the client so together we can formulate strategies moving forward. This is far more effective and far more powerful and proactive working with my client in this way. Whereas the others, their main duty is to give advice. Counselor and psychologists, they give advice. Now, for example, I have seen a psychologist one time in my life just to see how they perform, because as a coach, I'm naturally curious as well. So I went to see one. And in this session, I was concerned about something, and the psychologist gave the advice. Without giving the background, it may sound funny here. Her advice to me was, go and do some truck driving. Become a bus driver. Yes, that silence was my reaction. How on earth is that related to my situation? Now, if you are curious as to what that was, please do leave a comment below and I will reply to you as soon as possible. Okay, it's really interesting. Now, with the psychiatrist, their advice, yes, they give advice on what medication you should take, or if you are on some sort of medication before you come and see the current psychiatrist, they might advise you to change it. The time frame of the outcome. What do you expect? When do you expect results to occur? Usually with my coaching session, the client gets instant results. And I know this because I give feedback questions on how they feel, what did they see, what have they heard, how they see themselves moving forward with the tools that they've got in that instant. Whereas with the other therapists, some of them are short to midterm. A psychologist usually has a long-term view of the outcome with their patient. Psychiatrists, well, that depends on the patient. The patient could receive an instant effect on their medication, or their medication could have a longer term ideal outcome for that patient. Now, where do we conduct our sessions? Counselors, psychologists, and psychiatrists, they usually ask you to come to their office or to their clinic. Okay, clinic being where they administer medication. Whereas me as a coach, I prefer to meet my client where it is conducive to have our session. Mostly in a coffee shop, or where I'd like somewhere around water, that is around a lake or beside a river. The lake and rivers are much more subdued, more quiet, more serene. And that's where I like to see my clients, especially. A place like this, for example, that's an awesome place to conduct a coaching session. Here are my credentials. I am a practitioner of Neuro-Linguistic Programming. So I am an NLP practitioner, and I have done extra credential in the deep state repatterning. So it's a very special tool that me as an NLP practitioner has learned and uses in my coaching session, and which has been approved by the Australian Board of NLP. My other credentials, which allows me to be a life coach to my clients, is that I have a certificate 4 in life coaching, and I have passed the very stringent, very strict, high standard of the Coaching Institute, which allows me to be a practitioner in life coaching. If you're interested in being a client, if you want to elevate your life to go forward a bit more, have a look at my previous video on setting goals. There is a very powerful, there is a promotion code available for you to use. I will put the link below of that exact video, and take advantage of my very special offer, up to 55% special discount off the total package, where you have 13 coaching sessions with me, which must be booked within a 12-month period. You could use that for any and every aspect of your life, whether it's in your career, your finances, your relationship, your hobbies, for example, or other mental aspects of your life, or a combination of all of these. Yeah, I recommend that you check that out. And lastly, do remember to subscribe to this channel, VitalSpark with Shaman 8, and press that notification bell icon. I look forward to hearing from you in the comment section down below, or email me personally. Wishing you love and happiness always. Thank you, and I love you.